Hello, and welcome back to the M&E Show. My name is Emily.
And my name is Ethan. Let's start with our 3 deep breaths. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it. And let that breath go. Exhale. Inhale through your nose. Exhale. One more time. Inhale through your nose. Hold it. And exhale. Welcome to episode number 25 of the M&E Show.
Episode 25, a quarter of 100. This is definitely momentous. Very excited, very grateful. And I feel like we're speaking at hushed tones because it's quite the rainy day here in New York. Ethan is feeling a little under the weather, right? A little from the rain, perhaps. And
But we're still here.
We're still here. Ethan's roommate's home. So we're just taking it at a chill level today.
Yeah, I like this level.
Me
It
too.
feels calm. I feel like every other podcast is like...
I'm sweating.
Every podcast is like, you have to listen to what I'm going to say. Well, I feel we just have a chill podcast.
Just chill, nice and easy, calm, easy breezy, beautiful.
Yeah. What the heck are we talking about?
The heck we are talking about is the art of the conversation. Ethan and I don't know, there probably is something we love more, but right now there's nothing we love more than reflecting on the daily conversations we have with each other, with strangers, with people we know, people we love, and how much daily conversation is such a reflex when it comes to how are you? Good. How are you? And it's like, what's actually happening here? Like, why, what's preventing us from just being without feeling the need to do the automatic reflex? Like, to what extent is the way we converse truly benefiting us and moving us forward as a society in a direction that is most conducive to a higher level of being, of consciousness, of truth, authenticity, you know?
I know.
So, yeah, I wanted to start off by saying that, and that conversations, dialogues are so much of this existence. Communication in general. I mean, it is the largest world within this world. There's so many topics and ways in which people converse, and yet it's so limiting. Words, I feel, themselves are so limiting in terms of the message that's trying to be expressed and received. And yeah, there's a conversation again we have with each other versus strangers we meet, what those conversations are like, and then with our moms. So that's what I want to say for now, and I'm wondering what your instinctual thoughts are to that.
Well, I cracked up laughing just now when you said, what are we doing? Because we've done it for so long. The how are yous, the how are you doing, the highs, the things that are so commonplace, it just feels like we have to at this point do that. But what's going on beneath that? Do we really want to say hi to all these people that we say hi to? Do we really want to ask, how are you doing? Do we really want to get into these conversations? Or do we just do it because it's socially acceptable or socially
What's
motivated?
expected?
Yeah, expected.
Yeah, I feel
Inspired. Is it to make other people feel better? Is it for us? Is it a mixture? So I think just the way you phrase that, like, what are we doing, is so, that's how I feel. And conversations can be so amazing, and they can also be so useless when there's not the communication happening that we want.
Yes.
What makes a good conversation? That's my first question for you.
As you were speaking, I think I was developing an answer to that question. For me, it all starts with the eyes. Like, there was a period in our relationship timeline where we decided when we greet each other, we just have a moment, like, at the as soon as we experience each other's presences, we just be in silence and look at each other for a sec, and then we move closer.
Do we still do that?
We kinda lost it, but we still, kind of integrate it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel the need to be like,
How are you?
"How are you?" Like,
Because you would always come in and ask that right away.
yeah,
And I think I said, let's just look at each other
yeah,
before I respond to it reactionarily. Before I react to it, let me actually feel how I'm feeling just by seeing you
yeah,
and seeing how the presence of someone else, specifically you in this circumstance, actually affects the energy you have. Because if you're really in tune with how you're feeling and then you see someone else and you just let yourself pause, you're going to feel a shift most likely.
yeah.
Whether it's a positive shift, a negative shift, or neutral, you don't feel anything. So I think that moment of silence and awareness and just presence with each other allows us to say, okay, how am I feeling right now? Seeing you.
Yes. It allows us to be as one with our beings as possible while experiencing the other person.
It's like
And
asking, how are you? And then it's like, well, 4 seconds ago, I was feeling differently than I do right now in this moment seeing you.
it's so true.
Because now I feel differently having come into contact with you.
I mean, there's so much to say just about the phrase, "How are you?" I think we've talked about this before, how it's like a deflection of the self. Like
Totally.
it's
Energetically.
it's people pleasing, but it's also like for your own comfort, not to put the spotlight on you and to play like, I want to hear about you. But it's like, to what extent do we really? And it's like when we ask, "How are you?" It's such a because the real answer to the question, "How are you?" is I just am. We're so many things at the same time. So the most basic answer is I am.
That's how you would answer in The Lion King when the character asks, how are you feeling the least amount of words possible?
Oh yeah. I think it was
We should start using that in real life.
yeah, that was so funny. How are you in as little words as possible? That was so funny. That says I forgot who says that in The Lion King, but that was so funny.
It was one of the two characters who live in Hakuna Matata land.
Yeah, yeah.
Not the big one, the smaller one.
Yes, 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 yes. Um yeah. How are you? Yeah, so I think yeah, I would love to live in a society where we before like as soon as we embrace eye contact with someone, we both take a moment of silence to say like to ask ourselves how we're feeling and then as aligned as possible move forward in the conversation. Like if you feel inclined to say hello, you say hello. If you don't feel inclined to continue, like say I always think about like when we're sitting by the water and then Ethan has someone he knows that passes by um and it's like that person's continuing to walk and it's like do we really want to engage in a dialogue right now? Not necessarily. So it's like instead of forcing it, why don't we just do that acknowledgement that is as present as possible and like both without using words be in agreement. Okay, we're going to move forward. Like that would be, I think, so ideal.
And I feel like we really both are on the same page, you and I, but also when you see someone, you know internally whether or not you want to actually talk to that person
Yeah.
right now in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And you know when you don't. We were talking about those people who we saw in front of us bump into each other.
Yeah.
And I like how you explained it, so I'll let you sort of tell the story on the West Side Highway.
Yes.
like truth of how that person was feeling versus the actual conversation that took place with those people who bumped into each other.
I don't remember the exact dialogue, but it just felt forced. Like the people knew each other and it was like, "Oh, like we have to look like we're excited by this person's presence. So let's hug and engage in dialogue even though I don't necessarily want to see you right now." Like that's what it felt. That was the energy they were giving off,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, and you said something like, imagine they were just honest to each other, like, "Hey, I did not expect to see you right now, and I wasn't really
I'm not looking for conversation really.
looking for conversation, but I hope you have a great night, and I'm gonna leave now."
Yeah. That would be so I wonder how much happier everyone would be if you were just honest and didn't take so much offense to the possibility of someone saying that to us. Because I really think I think we're really moving forward as a society, hopefully, to be pro-truth, pro-transparency and authenticity, but in tandem with that, there has to be just as much being able to receive that, and
Yeah.
we really need to strengthen that muscle just as much we're strengthening the muscle of speaking our truth, being able to receive it.
Yeah, and I think we can sense yesterday I had a conversation with someone, and I could just sense that he was distracted, and what I should have said is, "Hey, I could just tell you're focused on something else. Do you wanna end this conversation now?" I didn't say that. What I kept trying to do, which is just a habit of mine, is
Mm.
try to be more interesting to, like, get them to be focused
Mm.
because deep down, I wanna be worthy of
Mhm.
that person's focus rather than I was aware. I could tell just in his mind he was distracted, and I was aware of it, and rather than saying bringing that to the surface, I just kept trying to keep going, keep going, keep going. I realized after I go, why did I do that? I didn't need to do that. I could have just said, "Hey, I recognize this," and just walk away. It's hard.
It's crazy how fearful we get of lack of momentum and forward motion in a conversation, and I can't help but think about we were recently at a house party. It was my friend, it was her birthday, and I just met this girl. That's another thing, like, at a party, pause, and we'll go back to that, but I was like, "Hi, nice to meet you," and she was like, "Nice to meet you," and then I literally will not forget her trying to go through, "What do I say next?" Like, in her mind, because it was loud, but it's like she felt the need to continue. I was just being and, like, "Nice to meet you," and I could have just stayed in eye contact with her until I was ready to part, but she was, like, trying to fish for, "Oh, um, how do you know so and so?" Like, and I was like, "Isn't it crazy how we feel the need" I literally said this to her, "Isn't it crazy how we feel a need to go through the Rolodex of questions in order to move a dialogue forward instead of, like, just being?" And this is why there's so much resistance when it comes to parties, like, "Oh, let's not go to parties." It feels so fake and so much, forced expression and communication, and it's like, we're all contributing to that, so why don't we all take a breath together and sit in the discomfort of not forcing things so we can actually enjoy being relaxed and being ourselves in a party environment.
It has to start with us. And it has to start with if we want that, we have to be the epitome of what that is, what that feels like, what that looks like, what that sounds like in every conversation we go into and just be even as uncomfortable as it might be because the person that we're talking to, we can just sense is uncomfortable, but it makes us feel more comfortable. And then in turn, I think it will actually inevitably make everyone way more comfortable than we are all now with
Yeah.
social dialogue. And we try to make the other people comfortable by making ourselves uncomfortable, whereas we should make ourselves comfortable. Possibly the other person becomes uncomfortable, but then inevitably they realize how comfortable we are, and it actually gives them permission to just be themselves, whatever that may be. And I think two people being themselves always leads to good communication and a good conversation. But
Fulfilling.
two people are trying to force something that's not them, of course a conversation is going to be not great. You're not going to feel that connection. You're not going to feel that depth.
Yeah, it's amazing the power of one person willing to take the risk to be uncomfortable and the ripple effect that can cause in glorious vulnerability and freedom for all.
Well, it's funny. It's actually not even a person willing to be uncomfortable. It's a person willing to be comfortable.
But it takes discomfort to be comfortable
That's
in that setting.
that's true. Well, because we've conditioned ourselves to be more comfortable making other people comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So the feeling of being uncomfortable is from us actually being comfortable and making someone else uncomfortable, whereas our society has made ourselves uncomfortable because we are doing our best to make you comfortable. Like
Yes.
if you're telling me something and it's not funny, I'll like that wasn't funny. I didn't need to laugh at that, but I did because I didn't want you to feel uncomfortable. And instead I changed my state
Mm-hmm.
to make you feel good. Instead of just being like, okay.
I'm laughing because we're saying the word comfortable so much. It's like losing meaning and it's making me laugh. But yeah, I feel like the difference is conscious and unconscious discomfort. Like the forced energy is uncomfortable, but it is comfortable because it's been conditioned in us. So it's more comfortable than being aware of discomfort. And the awareness of the discomfort would be, okay, let me be uncomfortable for a second, live in my truth in order to be comfortable. That's what I feel the difference is. Conscious discomfort and unconscious discomfort.
I feel like what we're saying is really important. And I'm wondering if we can give an example to show what that looks like in a conversation, let's say at a party, because you were talking about a party before.
Okay.
So
So
let's say we don't know each other
mhm.
and we're walking into a party. First of all, I just want to take a breath before I do it because I think just being more grounded is important off the bat to have a genuine dialogue. And let's just be us two as if we didn't know each other. So we don't have to play roles. It's just I'm me and you're you, but we don't know each other. We're meeting at a party.
So this is our truth of
This
how
is our
we would
truth.
literally would be.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's hard to do because we do know each other, but what would a really healthy conversation with two grounded people look like? And how would they both feel comfortable? And we can do it slowly because I think that's the only way to actually go. So, okay. So I'm going to approach you. Let's say you're at
The punch bowl.
the punch bowl. What is this, 1980?
Yeah, it is.
Hi.
Hi,
What's your name?
Emily. What's your name?
My name is Ethan. It's nice to meet you.
Likewise.
That felt forced.
Take two.
Yeah. See, oh, okay. I didn't need to say that. It's not nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
I'm actually shocked that it felt already reflexive.
It felt reflexive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take two.
Hi.
Hi,
What's your name?
Emily. What's your name?
Ethan.
What are you feeling right now?
I'm a little nervous.
What makes you nervous?
Meeting new people and not knowing how I'm going to feel meeting them is usually something that makes me uncomfortable.
Does that mean you normally have discomfort with anything under the umbrella of the unknown? Or is it just social anxiety?
I guess social anxiety, which I've never thought I had, but I guess I do have it. I've just covered it up really well.
What does that mean, social anxiety?
I mean, it's exactly what we're doing right now, going up to new people and being anxious talking to a stranger, I think.
But what causes the anxiety, you think?
I think it's the unknown of not knowing what I'm going to feel in an interaction, not having control.
What's the worst case scenario?
I mean, I was thinking I'd die, but that's not true. But I think that's what we talked about in one of our last episodes.
Yeah.
Now we're back to us two talking. I feel like we kind of went in a weird conversation there. It was like
I
us.
feel like this is literally the conversation that would happen if we were strangers, though, at a party.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
But that felt truthful.
Yeah.
So
We
that
weren't thinking. It was.
it was just being
Yeah.
and going off of what felt naturally came after the
Important to us.
preceding thing. Yeah. This would be the unconscious discomfort that I think we all experience in the party environment. So, hi,
Hello,
what's your name?
Ethan. What's your name?
Emily. How do you know so and so?
Oh, we met at a party last year, and I'm mutual friends with some of her friends.
Oh, cool. How old are you?
I'm 30. How about you?
28.
Cool. Where are you from?
I'm from Westchester, New York. Where are you from?
Nice. I'm from Riverdale, and I actually moved to Westchester. We probably have a lot of mutual friends.
Oh, wow. Do you know so and so?
No, I don't. Do you know so and so?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
What do you do for a living?
I'm already like pleased at this conversation. I'm like in my head, I'm thinking, this sucks. Get me out of here.
Yeah, I'm not even here. Like, I'm just trying to fill the space.
Yeah.
And
There's a level of.
I'm not even with you. I'm not even with you when I'm speaking reflexively like that. Like,
Yeah, there's a level of distance.
yeah.
I feel having those conversations versus presence and groundedness.
Because you notice a lot of the reflexive questions are things that identify us and label us, but don't bring light to our internal world. And I think if we brought light to our internal worlds more in the party environments, people would feel more free and less tense. It's often the surface level questions which I understand because at a party you want to keep it light
Yeah.
and positive, but at the same time, again, like exploring the inner world shouldn't be anything but positive,
Yeah.
no matter how messy or dark it might feel.
So how do we? Because I think I want to, at least for this episode, it's such a great opportunity to give value for people who have social anxiety, or for people who go to parties. I think this could help so many people. The fact that I'm noticing literally like kind of now that I have this social anxiety, which has definitely gotten worse because I'm more present to it. And I think alcohol can numb it, and
Drugs
can numb it, and not being present can be a numbing agent as well. But when you're super present, you're feeling everything.
Yes.
How do we make people feel really comfortable while not making ourselves feel uncomfortable in a lighthearted setting where the conversation really feels slow and easy and not reflexive and reactive and surface level and distant? What are the questions that we're supposed to ask? What should we start asking people to get inside their internal world, but not in a, I need to know everything you've been through the moment we meet, but more things that are really reflecting how a person's feeling with you in that moment?
Wow. I have a few thoughts. The first one is when it comes to social anxiety, I feel with people, it's very like quick negative energy connotation. Like, oh, I have social anxiety. I'm not, but it's like, it's okay to be socially anxious. We are all socially anxious because, again, there's no blueprint for how to have a dialogue at a party, for how to live most authentically in an environment that is not conducive to freedom of truth and all that there is internally. So, in terms of being socially anxious, I think it's a really almost admirable thing to have social anxiety because it means what you're experiencing is not authentic to your truth. And that insight is amazing. It's amazing and an opportunity to be aware of it,
Yeah.
saying like, "Oh, I see you, inner being.
It's
Like, thank you.
teaching you something.
Yeah, thank you for being present for me right now and for letting me know what exactly it could be that's bringing up this feeling that's not aligning with my truth.
Mm.
And how can I bring light to it and hold hands with it and just allow myself to be? Because I feel like someone potentially who's socially anxious is longing to live at a higher level of truth and authenticity and presence than someone who isn't. So it shouldn't be a thing to be scared about or look down upon or shy away from. It should be like, oh, let me invite myself into this feeling and invite others into this feeling so they can be brought to my level and we can experience this unknown together.
So I love what you're saying, and I want to go back to giving real world examples because I think it's so important with this to show people what this actually how this actually unfolds in real life. Let's go back to our conversation where we meet at the party, and I want to go one step at a time because I come up to you, whatever, I notice something. Maybe it's how you look, maybe it's what you're doing, maybe you're wearing something. High seems easy, and it feels
Reflexive still?
no. I mean, let's just start with that. Is it high? Is that how you approach someone? Is that the easiest way to approach someone?
Let me say, I like saying hello.
Hello, hello,
Hello.
hello.
It just, hello is different. First of all, I
Yeah.
think each greeting, if you're intentional about the greeting, if you change it up, you'll automatically be more one with the spontaneity of the moment. I feel even just like saying hi or hello.
Hello, hello.
Yeah.
What's different? What's the difference between hello and hi for you? Because I understand. I can see. Hello feels more intimate.
Hello is universal open arms, the known English
Hello,
hello. You're taking the time to say 2 syllables. Hi is as easy as an exhale. Ha, hi, hi. It's so fleeting. And with hello, you're taking actually so much more time, even though it's a very small time, to really be present with that individual. Hello.
I think I've told you about how I've incorporated this into my ping pong coaching when I volunteer with Ping Pong Parkinson's. And I was telling them, I said, there's really two shots that we work on when we're there because there's so much to learn from the forehand and the backhand.
Mhm.
But I said, the forehand is hello. And that is the number one shot. That's the shot you hit the most. And I said, if you want to get deeper, backhand is how are you?
That's
But
so sweet.
hello is enough,
Yes.
enough for hours. It's so deep already to
There's
just tell someone hello.
That's so beautiful. There's so much to gain, and it's like, why are we rushing? There's so much to gain and so much to learn about yourself and the other person just through a hello and how present you can be with giving that and receiving that hello.
I wanted to do a whole conversation, but I legitimately feel like for this episode, let's just give people one tidbit to take away. And I think every podcast we should just give one thing. Like if you're going to take anything away from this episode, how intentionally can you just meet someone and say hello and then pause and then let them respond? Because we often want to set people up for success and give them everything. But if the person is a good partner to play ping pong with, right, to rally with, or to, in this case, have a conversation with, let them hit the ball back.
Mm,
Hello. And then the energy's back on you. I like your eyes.
thank you.
You're welcome.
My eyes like looking at you.
Thank you. That's so nice of you to say.
Thanks for saying that.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I think there's so much
Yeah, it's just slowing down.
slowing down.
Feels so good to slow down.
So good to say hello, to let the other person hit the ball back, and then take a moment before responding. There is no rush to respond to what that person gives back at you. In fact, give that person the opportunity to realize what they just said to you in that silence that you take to respond. You understand what I'm saying?
Give me an example.
Like, hello. And then the other person says, um, where are you from? I'm from Westchester.
Well, I actually think that that is only necessary. I feel like every conversation is you have to take it one conversation at a time. There should be generic rules across the board, but there are some people who just you click with and you don't need that pause because
Yeah.
it feels in flow. But if you ever feel like it starts to become out of sync or out of whack, I think that's when you can take the pause. But there's some people who you can actually just go back and forth and you just feel good about it and it doesn't feel reactionary.
Yes, I concur.
And some people it's good to slow it down. I feel like for us, we can speak fast sometimes, but our way of communicating often, and you see it on the podcast, it's slower, it's more intentional. We're okay with taking our time and having silence in between the words. Some
Yes.
people you speak faster with. That's just the nature of two people having a conversation. It's going to go at different speeds.
Yeah. I completely agree. It depends on the person. Um, I also think what can help is saying what's true in the moment. For example, um, Ethan met one of my acting classmates and he was like, "Hi, how are you?" And then Ethan said, "Good, how are you?" And then the guy said, "Can't complain." And Ethan was like, "You can complain." And he was like, "Oh, you're right." And I think bringing light and truth to like, as I did say before that words say so much, can only say so much, like, they give so little, but they also give a lot. Like, people say what they say for a reason, and it says things about their internal world.
Sure.
So saying things like, "You can complain," or, um, "Your eyes look beautiful. My eyes like looking at you." Like, that stating truths, like, when I ask, like, "How are you feeling in this moment?" Just bringing light to what is here can ground people instead of the, "Where are you from?" Like, "Where'd you go to school?"
Yeah,
It's like,
that's here.
yeah, that's none of that's here. That's all labels, identity.
It takes you away.
It takes you
Takes
not
you,
from here.
yeah,
Takes you somewhere else.
right.
But it's like, "Oh, I like the color of your shirt. Oh, is your favorite color beige?" It reminds me of trees, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's so much more exciting and fulfilling.
Yeah. There's so much to learn from our own way of communicating and then listening to others and seeing how that reflects back how we are. And then also just being in tune with how each conversation plays out differently with different people. How some conversations feel easy, some feel forced, some feel somewhere in between. And really being in tune with what that conversation is giving you, what you're giving to that conversation. If it feels good, keeping it going or stopping a conversation that doesn't feel good because it doesn't feel good. And it's okay to end the conversation if it's not serving you, which is hard for me to do sometimes.
It's also interesting because I think about, say you're, at a grocery store and you're talking to the cashier and the cashier's like, "Hi, how are you?" And you're not doing well. I understand keeping it short because there's only so much you can say in the time frame of an average dialogue. Like, the time frame is pretty short, when it comes to talking to a cashier, talking to your boss, like, saying, "How are you?" There's so much that needs to get done is what it feels like.
Yeah.
So, it's like, say we're in a darker place emotionally, how would you go about a conversation with someone that you don't necessarily have a lot of time with? Do you tell your truth? Do you say your truth? I usually say, like, when people if I'm not in a good emotional space and people are like, "Hi, how are you?" I'm like, "I'm okay. I'm alright," 'cause at least that lets them know I'm not great.
Yeah. If they want to,
But I also say that to let them know, like, we don't have to go into it. I recognize there's not all the time in the world to go into it,
yeah.
and I have people for that, and maybe that's perfectly the way it's supposed to be. I'm
Yeah.
supposed to say, like, "I'm okay. I'm alright." What do you think?
Yeah. You could say thank you for asking before I answer. I know Matt is coming soon.
Mm.
Up to 10. Great. Thanks, Matt. Matt's been helping us so much with our podcast from the beginning. Shout out to Matt.
Yes.
He's been the one uploading and putting together all these videos. So he'll be here in 10 minutes to pick up this video and post it in 2 weeks. But yeah, I think that's why I think slowing down is so important, knowing what each conversation is supposed to give and not doing more than you're supposed to and not giving less and just knowing exactly. Let's compare it to eating a meal. What portion do you want to have? Knowing when you're full and stopping.
Mm.
How hard is that to do? It takes practice. It takes knowing, okay, I'm full. I have a little left in my bowl, or I have more left in the pot, but I'm full and I'm going to stop. Not an easy thing to do, but the more we get in tune with our feelings, whether they be in our heart or our stomach, or even a thought that comes in, I think this should be over, we can really know how to navigate these interactions with people. And you know me, I could talk to someone way longer than that conversation needs to be because I just love having a good conversation. And sometimes, even if it's not a good conversation, I'll just keep it going to make it good, like I did yesterday. I kept trying to make it better instead of just saying, okay, this is enough. Like it didn't need to be that long. Same thing with eating a meal. I eat till I'm past full sometimes. I'm not in tune with how I feel and I go too much. So I think just knowing, being in tune with how you're feeling. Forget about what you think. Really, it's not about what you think. It's how am I feeling right now in this conversation? Does it feel like I need to give more? Does it feel like I need to ask a question? Does it feel like this person's not actually wanting me to ask a question? That's important. Knowing if someone actually wants you to continue it. Sometimes I know, I go, oh, this person clearly brought that up for a reason. I'm going to continue. Or actually, I only have 5 more minutes left. I got to go do these other things that I already committed myself to. As much as I'd love to stay here, I have to go. And I don't think it matters as much about if you're in a good mood or a bad mood. I think it's just knowing what that specific moment calls for.
Mm. Yeah, and I think food is the most excellent analogy because we're lucky enough to do it multiple times a day. And each time is an opportunity to strengthen the muscle of
Yes.
discomfort, of slowing down. And like we said in the food episode, how we approach food is how we approach everything. And I think it's so analogous to the art of the conversation, how we approach conversations mindfully, intentionally, being one with the discomfort and giving ourselves grace for the next time to improve how we want to improve.
Yeah, it's interesting, even the timing of eating versus conversations. In the morning, hey, good morning. How are you? At night, it's so much faster.
Yeah.
Things almost speed up as time goes on. And I'm the same with my meals. In the
Yeah.
morning, I can take a bite and put my sandwich down and
You're slower. We're all slower.
slower. We're all slower. And then it comes nighttime and I'm
Ravenous.
so timing plays a role. Everything plays a role. Environment plays a role. Who you're talking to, what you're eating. If we're going to compare the eating and conversation, because I think you can always compare two things and find similarities and differences and make them unique and connected, right? Everything is connected in some way. I'm connecting ping pong with a conversation. I don't know how many people have ever thought about it like that, but it's a back and forth, back and forth. And a good conversation is a good back and forth. Both people are being heard and listening. And it's just constant energy exchange where you both walk away saying, oh, I gained something from that. I got better. Or that was fun. Or that was interesting. Or I felt something. And yeah, I feel like you and I are just at the beginning stages of learning how to do it better and better. And this podcast has helped us talk to each other, but also get our thoughts across in a meaningful way
Mm.
and explain the the concepts that we're talking about. Last week we were talking about art. This week we're talking about a conversation. Things that are so broad but are so important for us as humans to really get in tune with and be better.
Yeah,
Be,
to discuss with the best of our ability. I was wondering what
we're having a conversation talking about conversations.
I was gonna ask, like, what do you think is the difference between the word conversation versus discussion versus dialogue? For me,
Conversation, discussion, and dialogue.
yeah. Are there other
I
synonyms? I
think
feel
they're all.
like
I think they're all
they all relate, but I feel like conversation's so casual, it's so accessible. Dialogue is more it's like an acting term or a story term, like you're seeing two people have a dialogue. It's almost like a dialogue, there's a witnessing factor when it comes to dialogue.
So this is a dialogue.
Yeah, because we're intentionally being aware of
Yeah, we're having a dialogue, and the dialogue is regarding conversations.
yes, it's like a dialogue's meant to be shared,
Got it.
perhaps. And then a discussion, I feel like sounds like there's something we need to solve. Like, let's discuss how we're gonna approach this topic.
Yeah,
What do you
I
think?
love that you have those three clear ways to describe it. I think those are spot on. I would not have been able to describe it as clearly, so I love that. And
Thanks.
yeah, while they're all synonymous with each other, there's definitely nuances to each one, and
Yeah.
each one has its own
Word.
word and feeling. Conversation. Yeah, I can have a conversation. Oh, we have to have a discussion. That feels more higher
Formal.
stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, higher stakes. And a dialogue sounds. Huh, that's interesting. We're having a dialogue. So each of them has their own feeling, and yet we use them all in different circumstances. And part of conversation is knowing what you're having. Are you
Yeah.
having a conversation? Are we having a dialogue? Are we having a discussion? Are we having all three? Right? You can almost mix them in. I read that whole book about communicating, and there's so much to communication and what's happening within the conversation itself. Is it what kind of conversation is it?
Yeah.
Because you can even break conversation down into right.
Yeah, I was gonna mention earlier, like, how I feel like it all starts with the eyes. Like, we were grocery shopping, one day at Trader Joe's, and this gentleman, I think you saw it, like, he gave me a most present acknowledgement. Do you remember that?
Sort of.
Well, he gave me a most present acknowledgement, like, "Hello," and I gave him the same level, and we were both here and slow, and that was so full, and there was a mutual, that's all we needed, and then we moved forward, and, like, when someone's eye contact, like, at a party is just, like, very forward instead of, like, centered, that makes me your eye con I just think it all begins with the eyes and how much you can sense one's openness, here-ness, centeredness with the eyes. That determines
It's so true.
the conversation, I feel.
Yeah, I'll be walking down the street and I'll think, oh, I do not want to look at this person. They are way too pr- pr- predatory.
Mhm.
Is a word that comes to mind. I don't know if that's the right word, but or some people are just soft. Like they're just soft in the eyes. They're looking at you, but they're not judging you. They're not preying on you. They're just they're simply seeing you. And I feel like I try to do that. I just try to see people. I mean, I have thoughts, of course. I'm not perfect, but I feel like people feel comfortable when they're being seen by me. But some people, I'm like, oh my god, I do not want to be. I do not want to like lock eyes with that person, which is so interesting because like, what are you actually doing with the eyes to make someone feel that way? But it must be internal.
And I loved when we were talking to the guy on the train, and you said, "What do you feel looking at me right now?" Like, that's such a great question because again, it's bringing light to something that's here, that's happening
Yeah.
right now, in the now, and yeah, again, I feel like it has to do with how willing people are to receive that level of discomfort and, uh, maybe, uh, words of criticism like, "Oh, how you look makes me feel a little anxious." And you're so good with being in the truth of that and letting people see you and critique you and also not being shy to offer other people, um, a different perspective that they can benefit from. So I really think that could help us all is working towards the level you have in terms of willingness to receive anything that comes your way. no matter how uncomfortable.
Thank you. And I know I can get better too. So I'm working on it. Because where I'm at now is good, but I still put myself second sometimes to make other people comfortable. And I want to get better at just speaking my truth and acknowledging what I see and feel
Yes.
versus hiding from it and distancing from it, which
Yes.
has been the habitual pattern for so long. So it's slowly me working on changing that.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the change because the more I do it, the more fun I have in conversations.
Yes.
The
The
more
more
happier I am.
fulfilling.
Yeah.
And it's like we're all undoing like survival
Yeah.
because that's how it used to be. Like we need to survive in order to
Yep.
maintain status in this tribe. So that's still hardwired into
Yep.
our brains. And it's like we can still survive by just
Yeah.
being.
What'd you guys think of that episode? That was fun. We could talk about some of these topics we could go so much deeper into, and I love these conversations, but they're so broad, and I think maybe we can have you guys send us questions you have, or if there's a specific topic you want us to really hone in on. Because I like the conversation thing that we did. So if there's any episode that we've done about a topic, but you want us to go a little bit more specific and detailed, I think we could do that. Or you could give us other topics that you'd like to hear about. But this one was just really fun, and thank you for bearing with me with my clogged pores, arteries, nostrils,
Passages.
passages, all my holes. Not all that.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in and listening and watching. And sending love and positive vibes your way. And see you for the next one.
Farewell.